A good place to begin your Gettysburg battlefield trip is a stop at the Visitor Center. Here you can grab your map for your auto tour. You can also visit the cyclorama and the museum for an additional fee. They also have a reasonably priced gift shop and some historical artifacts. The first stop on the audio tour will take you to Seminary Ridge on the outside of Gettysburg, where the first day of fighting took place. Here you can find monuments dedicated to Buford's Cavalry and Reynolds Woods. Continuing along, you see McPherson's Barn and also McPherson's Ridge. This is Route 30 coming into Gettysburg, and this is where the first day's battle began. Confederates were coming towards the city of Gettysburg, and the Union line was placed on this ridge line. This is the Peace Light, which is also a monument along the Seminary Ridge driveway. So that's a barn. That's McPherson's Barn on McPherson's Ridge. This is the line that we just went through. So that was the original Union line on the first day that they were trying to hold this ridge line. As the Confederates pushed the Union Army back through the streets of Gettysburg, they settled on two hills behind the city, Cemetery Hill and Culp's Hill. This is Culp's Hill, where they have a beautiful tower you can climb to look over the battlefield. Also a great parking area, a place for you to walk around and trails. So on top of the hill, you can see across the battlefield, so that is the Peace Light. That is Seminary Ridge, where we came from. This ended the first day of fighting with Confederates located on Seminary Ridge and the Union line on Cemetery Ridge. So on the second day of the Battle of Gettysburg, there was a Union officer named Dan Sickles who decided to move his men forward to a small hilly area in front of the Union line known as the Peach Orchard and the Wheat Field. So this line was relatively unprotected by the heights around it and was very vulnerable to the Confederate attack. It is located right around the Emmitsburg Road. There were many casualties in this area of the battlefield on day 2, both Union and Confederate. The Union line was pushed back through Devil's Den and eventually to Little Round Top, and the Confederates led a pursuit of their foes. Our favorite monument in the wheat field would be the PA 110th monument, here behind my husband and children. This is the division that my husband is currently in with the PA National Guard. As the Union troops got pushed back through the wheat field at the Peach Orchard, they went through Devil's Den. This collection of rocks is at the base of Little Round Top, and this is where Confederate sharpshooters stayed for the remainder of the battle. You can see behind this stone wall is Little Round Top. Here are the rock formations that you can still walk through today. They're very big boulders that were created from magma from the Earth's crust. Many iconic Battle of Gettysburg photos were taken in this area after the battle, as well as many ghost story tales have been passed along from Devil's Den. From Devil's Den, the Confederates made their advance on Little Round Top. Here you can see the view from Little Round Top. It's a great place to stop and walk around. There's many monuments up here and a castle you can walk to the top of. In front of us you can see Devil's Den and the wheat field where Confederates began their assault on Little Round Top. This is General Warren. He watched from Little Round Top the battle proceeding, and this is Noah doing the same. This is one of the soldiers killed on Little Round Top. If you rub his nose, apparently it's good luck. One of my favorite places to see on Little Round Top, though, is the monument to the 20th Maine. The 20th Maine is well depicted in the movie Gettysburg by Jeff Daniels playing Colonel Chamberlain, who famously has a bayonet charge on this end of Little Round Top when they run out of ammunition. So his men were stationed along this stone wall, and they were ordered to defend this position to the last, as they were the extreme end of the Union Army. So they built up these rocks along this wall as high as they could and dug in. They repelled many Confederate attacks coming up this hillside, but in the end ran out of ammo, so could not repel any further attacks. So Chamberlain got the great idea to do a bayonet charge down this hillside and swept the Confederate army, thus ending the second day's battle at Gettysburg. Day 3 of the Battle of Gettysburg, July 3rd, 1863, starts with the Confederates along this line on Seminary Ridge. This is the day of Pickett's charge. Men from Longstreet's division will cross this open field to the center of the Union line just ahead. We stopped here at one of the most beautiful monuments on the Confederate line. In front of us will be the North Carolina Battery. Haley's demonstrating how to use the cannon here at the North Carolina Battery. There were many North Carolinian men lost during the Battle of Gettysburg, third day, Pickett's charge. You can see these men as they gallantly charge across the battlefield towards the center of the Union line. As his men charged across the battlefield, General Longstreet watched with anticipation. Here someone left General Longstreet a cigar. From the top of the Pennsylvania Memorial, you can see the Union battle line on the third day during Pickett's charge. The Confederates would have been crossing this open field in front of us into the waiting Union troops situated behind a stone wall. The Pennsylvania Monument on the Union line gives a great vantage point of the battlefield. Here you can see the directional arrows that point to the different portions of the battlefield. Finally, we reach the center of the Union line. This is where Confederate forces have been trying to break through. This is also known as the high water mark of the Confederacy, because after this battle, they were never again close to winning in the Civil War. This was a turning point for the Confederacy in the Civil War. Here you can see the stone wall in front of us where troops were positioned from the Union Army to shoot as the Confederates crossed the open field. And since our reenactors were unable to perform this weekend due to the weather, Haley would like to reenact the Battle of Gettysburg for you. This is General Hancock. He was in charge of the center of the Union line during Pickett's charge. He was actually wounded and carried off the battlefield.